All right, I think we're on. All right, welcome to the third episode of the 2024 Other League Pod. Happy to have on a man that really needs no introduction. A man that's probably, I mean, needing a few more guys in the stable after last week. Andy, welcome. Appreciate you coming on.
Thanks.
And
I can't even say I'm really happy to be here. I'm not really happy, but I'm here. So, and yes, I am. I'm heading to market. I'm checking out some prices, looking for some deals, seeing what coupons I have. We're gonna be out there though. We're gonna be hunting. But yeah, it's been a tough week for the plantation.
yeah, injuries have finally struck. You did get Devo back, but yeah, the Rashi Rice
Dude,
early injury.
of course, like I didn't expect Debo to play, and then I was gonna play Wandale, and then Debo practices out of nowhere, so it's like, all right, putting Debo in, and then of course he gets outscored by Wandale by 8. Not that it would have mattered, but just the stupidity of fantasy.
It's frustrating. It is frustrating. Well, since we're on it, we'll start with our matchup from last week.
Yeah, you want to do your team, or you want me to do my team?
Why don't you go through your team? I mean, you started off a little bit there with the whole Debo thing, obviously with the 8 point. You and I were talking about Wendell on Thursday night because you had a few guys that you could have thrown in there with Debo still not sure, but yeah, go ahead, take it away. I mean, obviously
Yeah,
highlighted by the injury, but
Devontae had a hamstring injury, which when I drafted him, I kind of expected this turmoil because I wanted him to be traded, honestly. Like, let's
yeah,
get him to the Jets. That would be best case scenario. The Bills would be pretty sick.
yeah, that'd
Uh,
be awesome.
for the Ravens, I hope he doesn't go to the Steelers, but whatever. He was kind of out. I mean, so I'll just go through my team. Jane Daniels, absolute stud. I love him. He's
Guy's
so
awesome.
good. Yeah, just the way he throws is great. He can run. Um,
Looks great.
he's just a monster. I wish they had another weapon. If Devontae went there, I would be pretty
Talks of
pumped.
that. Yeah, yeah, that'd be great, especially
But
for
yeah,
you.
I'm fired up about him. Rasheed was just honestly like the most heartbreaking one. Just he was a young guy, just like really fun to watch. Like I really did think he was gonna have a big year this year. Obviously, I drafted him everywhere, and he's just a good player with the Mahomes, with Andy Reid. They were using him just how I thought they would. We got lucky with the Hollywood injury too. So he was going to be the
Sure.
primary target. He was catching deep balls, short, like he's just a stud. And then just have him not only goose, but then get knocked out probably for the year.
God, look at those
Kind of
stats. Yeah,
devastating, but it is.
that's tough.
So that's that. Myers is trash, whatever. He might be decent PPR play if um Devontae's out. Brees Hall, trash week. That game was crap.
Un-
HA,
Unbelievable.
I mean, the Dolphins are nothing without Tua, so that's 3 more weeks of garbage production out of him. Ferguson, he's actually been like
Good.
12 points. It's like elite tight end one production. Like he's ranked like 2 or 3, like tight end this week or something. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, why? I'm not like not in total points, but I'm saying like
No, I'm just looking at him. Yeah, I mean he's in he cracked the top 10 just because of
talks
his
about
point
how
total.
stupid the tight end position is. Then yeah, Debo underperformed. Houston, I mean, whatever. That
Yeah,
7 fine. It's just a terrible week. So,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
yeah, against you. I mean, I thought I had the advantage with a few of my horses, but
Me too.
you weren't doing shit. And then, I mean, your team didn't really do a whole lot either. But Jordan,
No,
I honestly I wasn't watching a whole lot of the early games. Jordan Love had like 5 points in the first like 3 quarters. And who's
yep,
the you have Baker on your bench? I was watching him
yeah.
go. Oh,
He
thank
was.
God I played Baker. And then
Yep,
Love ends up with more points. So like, did he throw
yeah,
3 TDs in the fourth quarter? Like, what happened?
yeah. So I mean, Anthony and I we've been getting together on Sundays, obviously to watch the pack, and same thing. Like the first, I mean, the Eagles looked pathetic, and Baker is just carving them early, and
We're
I'm like,
so bad, like so bad.
yeah, it's not your defense looks terrible. Just the whole team
Offense
in
trash.
general, but
Yeah, Saquon. We have Saquon and AJ Brown, and like our skill position players are pretty good.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
elite.
yeah.
Hurts
It's
looks
just
he's a playmaker, but he doesn't look like he's in command out there.
no, they need a new coach, I think for sure.
Yes, yeah,
It needs to
them
start from the top down.
I've been wanting to
Yep.
find him for a few weeks. Like he's
Hmm.
the only common link. Like get him out of here.
Yeah, I don't think he has any there's no leadership from the top. But yes, I mean Baker, to your point, started off going off and the Packers looked like trash. They were down like 28-0 pretty quick. Or whatever the hell the score was at that point, 21-0. And yeah, second half he found his footing. I mean, I think he's still definitely injured. It looks on a couple throws, but I mean to get 36 out of him, that was obviously huge for me. And then, same game, Justin Jefferson's just a stud. I absolutely love having like a horse like that in the
Yeah.
stable, so to speak, just based off of your team. But he's just
Really,
awesome, man. Like,
I really wanted him.
yeah,
I was scared about Darnold
me too.
but I was still like, this guy's so good. And I mean, Darnold, Darnold, Kirk Cousins, and Baker are like
Pops.
QBs this year, which is
Yeah.
insane.
But yeah, that was a good game for Green Ball, at least in terms of point totals. I mean, Zay
Yeah, just
Flowers,
those two guys.
that's it. That's pretty much it. Yeah, that's all I got pretty much this week because I mean Baltimore didn't need to throw, so Zay Flowers has been irrelevant the last 2 weeks, which
Yeah.
it sucks. You're going to get that from their non RBs. If they're running the ball, they don't need to throw it. So Zay Flowers has been quiet, I should say, the last 2 weeks. James Cook, I mean, I don't know. Baltimore just beat him up. I didn't expect that in that game. I thought it was going to be a close game, but they came out and smashed him. I played Cam Akers late. Already dropped him. He sucks. I mean, just pathetic. Nobody's in that backfield.
Yeah, wait, who else? You had someone else on your bench that I thought someone scored early, and I was like, fuck. And then I
Yeah,
saw
it was
Swift,
DeAndre Swift.
Swift in
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
I
yeah. I
was
was gonna say
watching,
that.
I like
Yeah,
turned Red Zone on and they're showing him like
he's going
slicing
off.
through the Rams, and I'm like, oh fuck. And then I pulled up the app and I saw you.
Yeah, I was so pissed.
I was
I was
cracking up. Yeah, with
well,
him and
like,
Baker on your bench,
yeah,
I was feeling so good early on. And then
yeah. I was feeling like absolute trash in those decisions. Obviously a homer pick with Jordan Love, so I was gonna play him regardless. So if he was gonna play, I was playing him. But Swift has been terrible. I mean, good to see moving
what?
forward,
Like, where did
but
that come from?
he got so many passes. Like he had like what did he have? It's 7 catches for 72 yards. I mean, that was like, I mean, and 93 rushing yards. Don't get me wrong, but
What
yeah, that
points
he
on
did.
him? What were his points the first 3 weeks? Like
He outscored himself for the first in week four
30,
for the first three.
30 yards, 30 yards.
30, 18, and 20 was his rushing yards.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
he
But
made the
yeah,
right
good.
choice. Akers had that backfield.
Yeah,
I
just like once they announced Pierce and Mixon weren't playing, I'm like, all right, well at least have a starting running back. I mean, they were hyping up Roshan Johnson in Chicago the whole week, so I was like, all right, might as well play a guy I know is going to get all the volume. And yeah, it didn't come out, didn't really do anything.
yeah,
Yeah, really not much to say. I mean, 92 points, kind of got lucky, obviously. I mean, didn't even hit the century mark, I should say, but yeah, we get the job done. Drake London's been looking great. We'll get to that in week 5 as well.
yeah.
Since we'll have
I wanted to ask you, Flowers, you know what you're gonna get. It is gonna be hit or miss. London, I
yeah,
feel like I still don't know, like, because he's had some monster games now, and then he still disappeared a little bit. Like,
yeah,
is he? I still don't know is if he's like the next elite play or not. I mean, it's definitely been trending that way. Look at
yeah. I
that.
mean, his targets have looked awesome, obviously, and I think as Kirk Cousins gets like he had obviously was in pretty good rhythm in that game. Last night we'll get to that, but I think as Kirk Cousins starts getting a little steadier, I mean, I think Drake London's awesome. I mean, I just thought with Kirk Cousins, he'd be a good wide receiver too, and so far so good. I mean, I'll take. I mean, the 33-point week we'll get to, but I'll
Yeah,
take 18 and 17 all day next to Jefferson. So
he's
at least that.
kind of like a Mike Evans clone. Like just plays on the
Mhm.
outside. He's gonna get touchdowns.
Bigger
Not
guy.
he's not gonna have 100 catches, but he'll have
Hmm.
like 70 to 80 catches, over 1,000 yards, and maybe double-digit TDs. Yeah, that's nice. I like
I like
that.
this young man down here since Thielen's out. I just don't know if I have room for him right now with if I'm going to play him this week or not. But it was nice to see. legit. I don't know if you ever heard that guy talk. That guy
Yeah,
should
that's
be.
what he's retarded. I don't know why. It's like
This
I
guy,
wrote
this
him off my board after I heard him talk a little bit. I'm like, this guy's not going to learn a playbook.
if
But
there's one guy in the NFL that should be on the plantation, it's probably this guy. To be honest with
dude,
you.
yeah, seriously, that's absolutely accurate. But
Yeah.
also like that, like they drafted that Mingo guy last year. I
Hmm.
thought there would be a lot more competition for targets there with Thielen and Deontay.
Sure.
Which I guess there still are, but Andy Dalton's slinging it now. So yeah, he could he could
Might
definitely for you.
might be viable when as Thielen's been put on the IR. So we'll see. I have a lot of receivers. I can only play three of them, so we'll see. Yeah, lucky to get away with that win. Three in a row for Green Bowl after losing the first. So it's been a nice little ride here in the last 3 weeks to get back into the top six seeds. Really, we'll get to that, but
I think
let's move.
I think if Rasheed played, you would have lost.
I think so too. I mean, the only problem was your running backs to your point. I mean, 8 points out of
Total,
Achan and Brees Hall. It's
total trash.
terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, moving
Well,
on.
let's get on to damn, one of my losses in my picks. I keep picking Chip Blizzard 2 weeks in a row and he fails me again. But nice point totals out of these young men. The bastards take him down and they exceeds his point total. Take it away. I mean, who do you want here? I mean, Kamara's been awesome. I know that. I'll just
Yeah,
make that note.
I think yeah, Logan's. I mean, Stroud's been not that elite, but he had a good game. Kamara is the number one running back. He's insane. Diggs
Yep.
has been a PPR,
Great.
which is awesome.
Diggs has been insane the last, I mean, 3 out of the 4 weeks. That's great to see.
He's not like running as many deep routes and everything, but he's great. I mean, Nico runs all those. He runs underneath.
Yep.
It's great. Good for him. Evans, I mean, he finally had a good week
Yep.
after slow ones. I mean, Bowers has been well, he's had two slow weeks too, but he was
Yep.
looking like the number one tight end after the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He's
I think
gotten
he'll get
down,
if they get rid of Devontae, which I mean, everything on the walls, the writing on the wall there is that he's definitely going to get traded. Um, he's going to
but
get peppered, so I think he's still going to get the
he
volume.
should still get peppered. I don't like it is weird. Like, why didn't he get targeted more the last two games? But
It's
maybe
true.
defenses are starting to figure him out a little. But yeah, and then I mean, obviously Tyreek is part of the garbage that is the Miami
God.
Dolphins right now. Um, and yeah, Roshan Johnson, he got a touchdown for you, look. That
Yeah.
worked out. That would have been.
Every running back too that Logan has stuck in, like he was running Madison for a while. Like
Oh
these
yeah,
assholes,
man.
these assholes keep scoring for him. Like it's unbelievable. Like the
Yeah,
guy every
he's getting the Steve lock this year.
little bit, yeah.
Um,
And Christian Kirk woke up a little bit on his bench, which I'm sure he's happy to say.
Yeah,
Um,
and Rick, I mean, again, just solid, but not enough. I mean, he
yeah,
just he needs someone else on his team to like really step up to be elite, and he has the guys to do it. DJ Moore, I don't know what's going on at the Bears and Caleb. They look so bad. That's been a surprise. Cooper, I
yeah,
feel close to breaking out, but he just hasn't done it. Taylor's been solid. He's out now. Montgomery's solid. Kelsey, well, yeah, he's been trash, but he's
finally,
had a good week, and he should get a lot more targets now.
yep.
So yes, I mean Ship Blizzard has the pieces, but again, like I think that's like looking at all of our teams, it's just who's gonna get hot at the right time. I feel like
I
there's
think so too.
like a lot of even teams out there, so
Yeah,
check
tough
that.
sledding for Rick. I mean, I think the last 2 weeks, like you said, I mean, had probably had a decent output. You just can't get the W. Unfortunately, I mean, he had a tough one against Aaron the week prior, and gets 116 out of his team this week, and still, unfortunately, just not enough. So, yeah, I mean, 0 and
What's
4.
Ship Blizzard's bench look like?
McConkey, I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
Downs had a nice little week for him. I mean, I think that.
Downs comes back. Yeah, that's a nice good
I mean,
little.
Downs. I think it's sad to say, but like with Flacco, there, I feel like those receivers are like better off with a standard
Yeah,
like
it's just like Andy
traditional
Dalton
quarterback.
in
Yep. Yeah.
Carolina. Flacco's
Yeah.
gonna light it up, I think.
It's crazy though. Like to think like that generation of quarterbacks. I mean, Flacco's what, 40 years old. I mean, these guys are more viable and are I mean, quarterbacks that as fantasy owners you want because like at least your players are getting like points.
Yeah.
It sucks. I mean, Pittman's been so pathetic, on that team, and he was so good last year with Minshew. Like it was, I mean, it's just weird. It's just you never know with some of these guys and kind of how it shakes out with some of these skill positions. But yeah, I mean, sucks for
Throwing out
Rick. I
all
mean,
these like they're throwing out all these young quarterbacks and they don't know what to do.
yep, yeah, it's. I mean, Richardson. Snyder keeps kind of dwelling on how many games he's played since high school. Well, I mean, I don't know when he's going to get the experience because every game he's played, he's either getting hurt or it kind of sucks. So I mean,
It's a vet.
he's had like three obviously really really good games, but like kind of hard to hang your hat on him for
Yeah.
just a couple games that he showed like yeah he can do that, but he hasn't been doing that at all consistently. So I don't know. We'll see.
Like he should be a guy that like sits for a year or two or
Yeah.
three, and then like comes in and dominates. But you just have to ride it out. But yeah, it sucks for Pittman and the whole passing game there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then Taylor's out this week, like you mentioned. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know if Richardson's going to be playing or not, but I mean, more to come. Thank God Steve finally takes his first loss. Beef takes him out
Yeah,
in an
wait.
impressive performance.
Yeah, I've always loved Beef's team.
Me
Steve,
too.
I like Steve's team. Obviously, it's been a lot of his guys have been going off, but I don't know. I don't feel that threatened by Steve's team being in first place. But yeah, I like the Beeve, the Murray uh the Murray McBride stack hasn't really worked out, but I think that'll pick up. And then I
Hmm.
like his skill players with Lamb, Metcalf. I really like Metcalf this year. He's been doing well.
God, the Cup's
Lamb's
so
not,
good.
Lamb's not like he hasn't been himself yet, but he's still going to be good. ETN sucks. He's just trash, and the whole Jaguars team is trash.
They stink.
Mason was a nice pickup. I don't know. Did he draft
Huge.
him or
No, no, he picked him up like right when Anthony and I documented this pretty well because Anthony had McCaffrey and like Elijah Mitchell went down like I think the day before. So like that next day, Nils picked up Mason, and then sure enough, now this is where we're at with that backfield, and Mason's looked great. I mean, he's getting a ton of run. I mean, 123 rushing yards. I mean, look at this guy off the waivers. I mean,
yeah?
last week
He's
or
been, I
week
mean, he's
three,
been the
but
pickup of he's been the pickup of the year. Have there been any other waiver pickups that made an impact yet?
not to this level.
I
No,
don't
not
think
that it
so.
comes off my head. Yeah, I mean,
Maybe Carson Steele, the equivalent on the negative side, just absolutely detracting from Arby's team, which we can talk about. But
I'm pretty
yeah,
sure Arby's dropped him too this week, which is hilarious.
yeah, he dropped him. He
Spent
gives them, he gives them
$41 on him.
negative. He Carson Steele sucks $40 out of Arby's, then gives them like a little tease, then gives them negative points, and then goes to the waiver wire. Uh,
God,
that's
two
just not
two
good.
quick 2 quick weeks for Arby's. That's it. We'll get the
But yeah,
hits pretty soon.
Brian Robinson, yeah, I really like him. He's been doing well.
And San Francisco's D. I didn't even
Washington's
see
obviously been a
this.
surprise. Yeah, holy shit,
28.
28
Jesus.
points. Did they
That's,
have a
I mean,
tutty? Oh, they did have a tutty.
they had a fumble recovery or two fumble recoveries, a tutty. Jeez. I mean, New England's terrible, but yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, 30 points out of your defense. Hell of a week. I mean,
So
not even the highest point total, but yeah, I like Beef's team a lot too. I've complimented him a few times. I think he's got a pretty well-rounded starting lineup.
yeah, and then on his bench, I know he's McBride,
McBride was out.
Keenan Allen, who I mean, I guess he is Najee. He has a lot of running back depth.
Yeah, yep.
Wideouts, he's a little thin, but he
And
has two
then
he's two horses, so that's all you really need.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, and then Steve side, I mean, I agree with you. I think Steve has a great team. I mean, overall, I mean, just very steady. I've noted his bench a couple times on this pod, but I mean, yeah, Josh Allen sucks. I mean, that's a terrible, you know, you're hoping for a big game out of the guy, and throws up a 7 spot, in a primetime game. That's tough. And he had that stack with Shakir as well, but Marvin Harrison's Jr. starting to pick it up for him. I mean, that's kind of nice for him to see, especially after the 1 point week one performance. And how, I mean, he drafted him so high, which I was kind of high on him, but like you never know with a rookie wide receiver. That's kind of another reason. I mean, I stayed away from Neighbors a little bit this year just because I didn't know with the Daniel Jones situation. But like these two guys, in terms of rookie receivers, I mean, studs. Yeah, there's a couple of them, but I think those are definitely the two marquee guys out of that draft. That I would say that are probably the top two guys right now in terms of rookies. Nice game out of George Pickens. Kind of talked about his talent, but kind of nice to see. I mean, played Indy. Indy kind of stinks, so. I mean, I don't expect that every week out of George Pickens in that passing offense, or even out of Justin Fields. He had a great game too, but
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, I think that's my thing with Steve's team is like I haven't figured it out yet. I need more of a sample size. Like Allen, obviously he fell to the fourth round for a reason. He's had two 38-point games and then two
two
70
duds.
games. So which
Yep.
one is he? We don't
Yep.
know yet. Marvin too, like he's had a
Hmm.
couple big plays, but otherwise, I don't know.
Yep.
Pickens is the same way, like questionable Pittsburgh offense. Gibbs is an absolute stud. Kyron's an absolute stud,
Those
but
running backs are good. Yeah.
is he gonna hold up for a whole year? So I think that's just my concern with Steve right now. We just don't
Right.
know, but
Got Jaden Reed down there
he
too,
does
which
have
is
Jaden
nice.
Reed, who
Dottle. Yeah.
Reed's pretty solid. Do you think he's the best Green Bay receiver?
Yeah, he was the guy that I like. I mean, I liked all of them to be honest with you, just because they spread it around so much. But his versatility is like awesome. Like they love that little screen pass to him. They like run some end arounds and stuff with him just because he's so shifty and like he's like their slot guy. So like he's never gonna come out as opposed to the guys on the outside where like Dobbs, Watson, and Wicks are all like kind of rotating. It felt like so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Jaden Reed, and now this week Dobbs and Watson aren't going to play,
Oh, yeah.
so Reed should be
Yeah, so if I look at
fed.
Steve's team and you throw Reed in there at the flex, like I mean a lot of upside with all those guys. So
Mhm.
they just need to prove they can do it consistently, I think, a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah, he gets his first loss. Like I said last week, I hate Steve, and I'm really happy to see he lost. Gonna leave that out. That
Of course,
um,
no injuries for Steve to worry about. He's just riding along with no issues, no stress, just plugging his guys in. They just do what they're supposed to do, stacking wins. Typical Steve season.
yeah, something'll happen. We'll go with my last week's co-host. I told Anthony, I said, you're going to need some duds, and hopefully you get to 100, 100 points and see what happens. And kind of close to it. I said he had a good chance last week on the pod that to maybe upset Ryan here, but I mean, really the story of the round was Derrick Henry. I mean, that night game, kind of put the matchup to bed, so to speak. I mean, that Derrick Henry's been, which we expected, just an absolute beast. I mean, back to back
Yeah.
30-point weeks. Should have had a third touchdown that he fumbled at the one. I mean, so yeah, he's an absolute animal. When they're clicking, that offense is all him and Lamar running it. And yeah, I mean, I kind of expected him going to Baltimore to kind of be doing
I mean,
this. He's a stud.
you just hope for only one TD and not like no catches. You just hope for like a
Mhm.
14-point game and not a 35-point game with him.
Yeah, he
But
scored it. He scored a touchdown, a rushing touchdown in every game. It's
yeah,
insane.
I mean they
That's
play since I mean that since he could be a shootout this week. Watch,
mhm.
I don't know. I mean, if they get a lead, he's gonna go off.
That's true.
You just have
That's Yep.
But yeah, I love Derrick Henry. I do. Ryan's backfield is very sexy. I really do. I like
It
just
is.
I like just looking at it. I don't I mean the rest of his team, Dak, trash. Godwin, I mean,
Been good though.
I think he outperformed the first week or two. Like I've had him last he's gonna be solid. Like I think that's it. Like 11 to 17 a week is what he is.
Yep.
Ayuk, kind of pissing me off, like just what he did with the holdout. Now he sucks. He'll probably be fine once he gets his legs under him, but I just don't really like him. Andrews, talk about a surprise.
Seriously.
I mean, I think they just are saying, look, we're just gonna run it with Henry, and you're just not gonna you're just not gonna run routes anymore.
Yeah,
He,
yeah.
he must have agreed to it because that's what's happening. That's just interesting scenario. Jameson Williams, that was a good pick. I like him. He
Yeah.
looks good out there. He's so like lanky and stuff. I have him in one of my other leagues. I'm just hoping he doesn't get hurt. And
Yeah. No.
he's
Got to
Pittman down there. He's
Addison.
trash. Addison, I mean,
That's pretty much it. I mean, just
um,
he's not going to play. He wouldn't play Justice Hill. I
I
mean,
like
really. I mean,
Dobbs. I mean, all those guys are like solid like plugins, but I wouldn't want to rely on them.
yep. Yeah, I agree.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
running back. So yeah, he has some depth. I like Ryan's team. Does he have another tight end? He was asking for tight end help. I tried to
of
give him Ingram, but he didn't want to do anything.
course not. He never wants to do a trade that isn't an absolute. I mean, every trade offer I've ever gotten from Ryan has just been so lopsided for him. I'll
Yeah.
say that out loud. I mean, I'm sure a lot of us have examples of some of Ryan's trade offers over the years. It's always he always starts the bidding pretty low for your team. I will say that. But yeah, he ekes one out here. I mean, he gets pretty much to his point total. And just
Yeah, poor
unfortunately, I mean,
Anthony just
just injuries just you're absolutely killing him. I mean, he's not Thursday night. I mean, thank God he finally got off the Thursday night bugaboo this week, with Kirk Cousins. I mean, that had to feel good for the young man. But yeah, other than that, I mean, really not much to look at here. I mean, Chuba Hubbard's been great. I mean, hopefully he can ride that out until Brooks comes back. And I think if Hubbard's still running the ball well, I don't see how they're not gonna just keep riding him a little bit in Carolina. So
yeah.
that offense finally starts
I think he's
clicking.
just gonna need more than Chuba to
Oh, for sure,
like
for
him.
sure. I mean,
I give
Stevenson,
Anthony credit for fielding like a decent starting lineup, giving his look at his bench.
yeah, it's
It's
like
insane. I just feel so bad.
OIRs and
I mean,
Qs everywhere.
Devontae, IR, yeah, McCaffrey, Puka. Then he benched Rashad White, who, yeah, I mean, that was maybe like a bad pick.
Njoku. Yeah, I mean,
And
kind of
Joe,
gets it right. Kind of gets it right here with the Kirk Cousins play of last week. So, but hey, I mean, it's hard to
Ryan
win.
just rubs it in from not only like beating him as an underdog last year in the playoffs, and now just kind of putting him out of his misery here.
Yeah, puts him
But
at 0-4. It's tough.
feel
It's gonna be
bad.
tough. It's gonna be tough treading for him because it's not going to be until week 7 or 8 that he even gets Puka back, which we don't really know what that's going to be like. Hopefully, Njoku is going to be coming back here in the next week or two. Which I mean, Njoku last year was a top 5, tight end. I mean, that was also with um, was that Flacco actually last
Yeah,
year?
that
Yeah,
was
Flacco.
flat.
Yeah, that was Flacco last year. So I don't know. We'll see what kind of volume he gets with Watson. But yeah, tough sledding for Anth. I mean, not much prosperity to look forward to. But we'll get to week
Yeah,
5. He had
I mean, I think he could be like a good playoff team, but he just can't get there. Like,
he's at this point. I
he
mean,
has to trade all those guys for pieces to maybe try to make the playoffs and then be an average team.
yeah, I mean, and honestly, like, you're going to trade those guys for penny on the dollar or pennies on the dollar. So
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what would you get from McCaffrey? I mean, that's something that, you know,
I don't
as
know.
talking like, could you try to trade him to Nils? Because he has Mason and he's really the only guy that, and he's a Niners fan. So
Oh,
why wouldn't he take a big swing if he wanted to? But
like
yeah,
go to Nils's team. So to get McCaffrey, I mean, you'd probably have to get like ETN. Would you do McCaffrey for ETN?
if I was Anthony, I would consider it. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
Like
because like there's,
that's a trade. That's a trade I would do.
yeah, I mean,
Then Nils, I mean, Nils
or
just
like,
plugs
or
in
like
Najee or
Brian
Brian
Robinson.
Robinson, doesn't really
Yeah.
lose much, and then he has
Yep.
just an absolute stud sitting in his IR
For
spot. Let's
for the
make that
playoffs.
happen, boys. You guys should go out and do that one. I think that's a good trade.
Let's make some blockbusters, boys. Let's make some blockbusters. All right, let's get to the first brotherly matchup. And
Yeah,
the Goose
I
is
think we just have 4 words here. Carson Steele, Ken Walker.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
I don't know what
Minus, I just see that horizontal line. What does that mean? I haven't seen that one yet
look at
tonight.
this. Look at this character. That's
Negative points.
look
Wow.
at this guy. Look at this stud. Yeah, free agent.
Oh man.
Mark that up there. But yeah, you know what? I mean,
Minus,
Anthony,
wait, minus 41% in the last day. That's hilarious. Oh man.
people are dropping this guy like flies.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, Anthony noted it when we did it on Saturday, which like I'm sure Ben looked at his, everyone looks at their team on Sunday morning. So, we were saying the same thing. Like, how do you not like you got to get Kenneth Walker in your lineup. And like, sure enough, like, I kind of was kind of raising a little.
Can you unhide his bench or scroll down, please? Thank you.
The thing is, like, he also has Charbonnet, so like that was the thing to me that like didn't make any sense, even
Yeah,
with not playing Kenneth
play
Walker.
one of
Like,
those guys.
why wouldn't Charbonnet be at yeah, like Charbonnet's been great when Walker was out. Like, look what he's like, even he's been great he's been getting double digits every week, even with Walker in week one and last week. So like
Yeah.
you gotta put this guy in your lineup, and then finding out Walker's playing, like, all right, like roll the dice with either one of those guys. Even if he would have played Charbonnet, I mean, he would have got you 10. The other guy got you negative point 0.4. You would have won.
Yeah. Yeah, Ben's a very good manager. I don't question many of his moves. That one, I just, especially like Kareem was coming back. Like
Yeah.
I was listening to Steele. Steele was like giving an interview, like he was like the backup, and he
Yeah.
wasn't gonna like catch a lot of passes. You're just literally hoping he like falls in the end zone, like
Hmm.
upside of like seven, six, seven, eight, nine. And then
I
yeah,
mean,
you have Walker and Charbonnet on your bench.
like,
I
I guess he had 17 rushing attempts last game against Atlanta the week prior, but like, still, they like,
I
I don't
think
know. Like,
honestly, to be honest, I think I would have played Charbonnet because I do
me too.
Walker. Walker's injury prone. He's weird with injuries. Like maybe it would have just been active and not even gotten snaps or something. I would have been like
Yep.
Charbonnet is like the safest play here.
Yeah, I see the fear. I agree with you there. But like, again, you have both guys. If you don't feel comfortable, you could have played Charbonnet and he would have got the W this week.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
overall,
more
I mean,
importantly, he has Walker on his team, who's an absolute stud. He has
beast.
Hurts, who's going to be a stud. St. Brown's
St.
a stud.
Brown. Awesome. Yeah.
Higgins,
We'll
I,
see.
I have him too. I don't know what he's going to be.
I think you're talking about like, the Devontae Adams stuff. I mean, I could seriously see before the trade deadline, like they got to pay one of those guys, and I'm sure it's going to be Jamar Chase before they pay T Higgins. So he could be a trade chip. I mean, he could go to a different
Yeah,
team for sure, especially if they're like
hopefully.
one or one in whatever or two in whatever. I mean, their defense is pathetic. So Cincinnati, they don't look great. So I mean, their first win was they barely squeaked by a Carolina team. This week 4. So I could see him going to a different team, and maybe that maybe he's a true number one then. So
Yeah.
Zach
I
Moss,
think
that whole
this is a big week for the Bengals, I feel like. Because yeah, if
yeah,
they lose, their season's pretty much done. If they
yep,
win, then you would expect like Higgins, you'd expect the offense to really go off against Baltimore. So
yep.
I don't know. This week's gonna tell a lot for real life and fantasy, I think.
I actually like this guy out of even though the Jags
I
suck. Brian
really
Thomas
love
Jr.
him.
is a stud. Yeah, like
Absolute stud.
he just looks like a beast. I just
Yeah.
maybe just because like I don't know, like it's seeing number 7, like he just looks the dreads. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
I just like watching that guy play. Like he's I mean, Trevor Lawrence kind of sucks, but I mean, I was questioning this move last week, but like then I kind of popped up this stat line, and Anthony was like, "No, he's been pretty good," and he was right. I mean, and he hit. I mean, Brian Thomas looks like a definitely like a little viable flex play for him for sure. Kind of moving forward, he's the number one there. I would say that. But yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
dude,
other than
they're like because I just after watching Brian Thomas and looking back, like going back and watching LSU highlights, like he and Neighbors were
yeah,
so with Jaden Daniels, dude, they were so good. And
yep,
like you watch the tape of both of them. Neighbors is definitely more of like a Justin Jefferson, but Brian Thomas, he's kind of like an AJ Brown. Like He
Yep.
can go deep,
Big.
works on the outside, can run slants. Like he's like it's like AJ Brown and DK Metcalf almost. Like just
Yep.
two studs. I really like Brian Thomas.
Yeah.
Um,
Arby's got a
I don't
pretty good
know.
team. I mean, he's gonna have to play that. I mean, he's got both of them, but which kind of I think kind of hurts. I mean, unless one of them gets injured, but the Zach Moss and Chase Brown thing is like even it's becoming even more confusing, I think, as we progress because like both of them obviously have a decent game. I mean,
Yeah,
23 and 17, I should say more than decent. But, at some point, I mean, they're both sharing the work. I mean, I can't imagine that that's going to be something that's like, viable for your, a running back. I mean, just in terms of like his RB2. So, I mean,
yeah.
that's gonna be a tough spot for him, I think. I mean, obviously we mentioned the Walker and even having Charbonnet is great, but that Zamir White's been terrible, and he's
Yeah,
gonna have to play
I'd
the
like to
Cincinnati
I'd
backfield.
like to see Arby move one of his wideouts and get a running back because
The
like
Cooper Cup.
he is
Yep,
caught when he comes back, which
it's
I
true.
hope it's going to
Good.
be this year. He's going to just cannibalize one of those guys.
Yep.
Um, so that's what I would probably do if I was Arby's. And I don't know. I mean, I really think his team, like Hertz hasn't been that elite and dominant, which is holding
No.
his team back. And then obviously Laporta too. Like he's been absolute dog shit. Look on
Yeah,
Laporta. What has he had?
there's just like there's too much. Like Anthony and I were sitting there,
Like
nothing. That was
not
his
even
best
double
game.
digit points. I was so confident in him going into this year. I really
Yeah,
thought
I just
he'd be
I think
locked
the
in the
the
stud.
Yeah, that emergence of like Jameson Williams, like you mentioned on Ryan's team, like I think that's definitely like that's another guy they got to throw the ball to. And like Jared Goff, even though he is a decent quarterback, I don't necessarily think like he's he's that much of a stud where he's gonna have like St. Brown and Williams and then Laporta and then they have the two running backs that have been killing it. So like
Yeah.
it's just a lot of mouths to feed on that offense. And like Anthony
I
said
just
this
thought,
too, and like having St. Brown and Laporta on the same team, like two positional skill players, like that's tough because like you're like they're two receiving guys. Like you're not going to necessarily hit on both of them,
yeah,
each
that
and every
is
week.
true. Yeah, that is true. And Higgins and Moss. I mean, when
Yep,
the Bengals dumpster fire doesn't doesn't get garbage points or start heating up, I mean that could be a
sure.
problem too. But I mean, he
Yep.
like if you just go one by one, I think Arby's has definitely maybe the biggest combination of pieces of any team that we've gone through so far. Especially
Yeah,
if he comes back and does what he does.
it's
Scary
true.
team.
Yeah, no, he's got a good roster. I mean, and then going over to the Goose, I mean, these guys, I think Aaron, I've complimented him a few times as well. I think he's got a pretty solid team. I mean, Mahomes has been terrible. I mean, he just traded, which we'll kind of note a little bit here moving forward after the matchups, but he did trade for Brock Purdy, so I guess he has some
Oh,
insurance.
wait, did that just happen?
Yeah, he traded. So he spent $9 on Fab for Trey Sermon, and now that Taylor's out, Rick offered Brock. It looks like Brock Purdy for Trey Sermon, just so he has that handcuff, which is a good trade, I think, for both parties. I mean, Trey Sermon's probably only going to be relevant for a week or two for Jonathan Taylor managers really specifically. And I mean, looking at his lineup, I mean, he doesn't really need him. He has Joe Mixon, who's going to be out again this week, but I mean, Jamar Chase definitely getting going. Deontay Johnson's been great, like you mentioned with Andy. Connor's just I every year I think James Conner is gonna like fall off and the guy just every year just puts up points. I mean, kind of a dud week obviously in week three, but 19, 19, and 19 or 19, 19, 18. I mean, that's
Yeah,
steady for
I love Connor. You just gotta hope he's healthy in the playoffs. That's it.
yeah. I mean, Fryermuth, he hits finally, on a tight end. I mean, I know
Yeah.
he spent some money on Likely, which I believe he also dropped this week as well. So the Green brothers are dropping guys that they spent some good fab dollars on. But Garrett Wilson's been so disappointing. I don't really know necessarily what's going to be going on. If Devontae gets there, he's going to be even more disappointing because Rodgers is going to just throw it to Devontae if they link up again in New York. So it'll be interesting to see what Garrett Wilson does and if that offense starts picking up because he was Yeah, second round. I mean, first round pick in some leagues and second round pick in most. And I would say this is pretty disappointing for a second round pick, even in a full
Dude,
point PPR.
he hasn't had more than 60 yards. I'm shocked by that.
Yeah,
I thought like I mean I probably wasn't gonna take him in the first round, but like when if I was thinking between him or like AJ Brown, I was like, oh, maybe like Garrett has more upside just from target volume, being the only
yeah,
guy there.
yeah.
But they just look out of sync. I don't know, like his routes or if they're not crisp or like it's weird. I don't know. Maybe they'll figure it out, but yeah, I mean, I'm hoping Devontae goes. What would you like? What do you think is the best fantasy landing spot for Devontae?
Probably Buffalo. I mean,
Buffalo?
just
Oh, he
Buffalo
would be
or
picking
or
Buffalo.
Buffalo or Washington, like you mentioned. I mean, because I think those offenses. I mean, Buffalo would be great because they don't really have a true number one. I mean, McLaurin being there in Washington, I think would be interesting, but um, yeah, they're. I mean, they're talking about the Saints. Just don't like Derek Carr ever, so I don't think that would be. We already saw what he did
I
with
don't want him
him.
to go to New Orleans.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we already saw what he did with him in Las Vegas. I mean, yeah, he had some good years. I mean, with a year or year and a half, whatever they had together, or 2 years. I mean, I would like to see him. I don't think going to New York. I don't think it's a home run if he goes and plays in New York with Rodgers. But just
Really?
like I don't. I just like, to
Oh,
your point. I just think that that team's kind of disheveled. Like from the top
that's
down. I
what
think
I
it's.
think. Like, I think he would just go out there and start running his routes, and Rodgers would know where he is.
I
And
mean,
like,
that's
because
true. I
they're
mean,
so disjointed, I think Rodgers would just say, "I'm just going to throw it to you." Like,
every
unless
time.
Garrett like is wide, I'll look at him for if he's wide open, I'll throw it to him. If not,
Yep.
I'm just
I
gonna
mean,
just give you a chance.
they definitely have the connection for sure. I mean, I watched it for a number of years, and it was exhilarating as a Packers fan watching those two guys go off. I mean, it was they had a pretty insane connection. So I don't know. I mean, I do want to see him go. I don't want to see him go to Baltimore. He'll be just underutilized there. I mean, they don't
Yeah.
pass the ball. So yeah, I think New York or like I said, Buffalo would be cool. But we'll see. I mean, I would and the Steelers. I wouldn't want him to go to the Steelers either.
Oh,
So.
no way.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, Aaron's team, I think, like I said, kind of running through it here. I mean, he's got a good team. But to your point, I mean, maybe not a lot of real horses outside of like Jamar, really. I mean, Mixon looked good before he got hurt. So I mean, I guess when he gets him back, he can kind of like a two-headed monster a little bit with Connor and Mixon if Mixon's doing what he was doing early on. But
It's
Mahomes,
just it's just
he doesn't have a weapon
it's
yet.
another team where like it just depends if they're hot at the right time. Like I could
Yep,
see all of those guys getting hot. Just I mean Ryan had Lamar, St. Brown, and Njoku go off. Like
yep,
I could see
yep.
any of those guys have a stretch of games like that and he could win the league. So it's
Yep.
just it's so hard to predict anything right now because I like a lot of teams.
Yeah, I mean, there's not too many teams outside of. I mean, I guess. Yeah, I mean, you had a major injury, obviously, and then I mean, Anthony. God, he had a million of them. But I mean, there's most guys are pretty healthy so far. I mean, at least in terms of star players. So, to your point, I mean,
Or at
we'll
least
see. We'll
line of
see.
sight to they're going to be back this year. You
True,
know,
true, true. This is the highest point total matchup of the
yeah, holy
week,
shit,
and
this was a shootout.
Phil Snyder gets his first W. He has to be feeling good. And Pain Train, I mean, 133, great outing, but takes the loss, and he's got to be a little worried at 1-3. He's got a couple of studs that I will say. I mean, Snyder's receivers are insane.
Yeah.
Geno Smith, good play. I like that Geno Smith Najigba stack a little bit this week. I mean, he kind
Smith
of had to.
Nigga. Yeah.
Nigga. Yeah, so that was a good play. Nico Collins has been the number one receiver, I think, or at least up there in fantasy. Let's go look at this. Well, Neighbors actually on a point. I mean, they're right there. So he's the one and the two. Neighbors has been awesome, and Nico Collins has been great. So, I mean, that starts right there. I mean, in a PPR league, you have two
And
top
he has,
receivers.
yeah, and he has AJ Brown on his
I was
bench.
just gonna say that, and AJ Brown is just waiting to get healthy. So, kind of was knocking a little bit of his running backs. I was gonna say he was gonna lose if the running backs didn't perform well. I mean, Josh Jacobs has been steady. I mean, nothing crazy. I mean, just kind of just 10, well, 12, 13 stud game against Tennessee and then 11. So he hasn't really broken off. No tutties yet, unfortunately for Josh Jacobs, but
I think
kind
he's
of a
gonna be
steady.
hot though. I think he
Yeah.
looks good. He passes the eye test. He looks like
Yep.
like a good version of Jacob. So I think he'll be fine. But yeah, again, it's like I think they swap the running backs more often than you'd
They do.
want, and like you just don't know if Love's gonna pass pass it 50 times a game, and then he just does like he's not in on those downs a lot of times.
No,
So
he
yeah,
should be.
you just don't really know with him. So yeah, I mean, yeah, Snyder has some trouble at RB there. I mean, starting Spears is pretty desperate move there.
Gets to get
The
gets to score.
the one B in Tennessee, putting that guy in your lineup just doesn't
Yeah,
look good.
yeah. I think he probably anticipated a little bit more, time like him maybe taking over a little bit, but yeah, he gets a touchdown out of him. So I mean, hats off to that. But
What's
yeah, I
on
mean,
his
once they're,
bench?
I mean, AJ Brown, obviously. I mean, Worthy could maybe be a play. I just think he's too his frame. He's a smaller receiver, so like I don't think you can count on him week to week necessarily. He's a flyer, so I mean, it's like a Rashid, a Shaheed type deal. Like, is he going to catch a bomb?
Yeah,
That's really all you can.
that's the
That's all you can anticipate.
perfect comparison. I just don't think he has enough of a route tree to do
Yeah,
anything else.
and then I mean, Tank Bigsby could be maybe a play if like ETN gets. I mean, he's been kind of battling some injuries. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm just.
he looks good.
And then he's got Hawkinson, which like I think that's a solid little stash there. I mean, I think he probably assumed Mostert might be at least viable. Now, even if he does come back without Tua, I can't imagine. I can't honestly imagine. I can't really, I guess, put into words how much value Tua is for that team. I like, they pay the guy a lot of money, and like, I think he gets a bad rap sometimes as being like a pretty shitty quarterback in big games. But now you're seeing that offense without him, and you're like, wow, I guess he was worth, whatever he was, 200, 200 mil or whatever the hell the deal was. So, um, yeah, it's crazy that whole team, that
Yeah,
whole
I
team in the offense
honestly,
stinks.
I think I think the backups they put in are horrible. Like
Mm,
not like get a veteran that you could just throw in, not
yep.
fucking whoever it was, or
Scoop Huntley.
yeah, or a Malik Willis, and even like I don't think they looked that bad. The other thing is, dude, I think McDaniels is a pretty shitty play caller. I
Definitely.
Dude, they were like running Achane up the middle into stack boxes or running like wide receiver screens. Like that's the only plays they had.
Yeah.
Like run
Yeah.
some slants or something. Like do like a normal offense. Give your
Yeah.
guys a chance to not just
I
like
think
throwing it horizontally. Like I don't
I
like
think he's
play
getting
calling was
exposed.
terrible, and I think those QBs are terrible too. So
Trash.
I don't know. Like it's hard to say. Is Tua really that? I mean, he is definitely that valuable because he could run that offense the way it should be.
Mhm.
But
Throw it.
not for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I think, like I said, I mean, Snyder's got three horses at receiver, but
Yeah,
um, I think like to your point, you mentioned about making a move for Arby's sake to get rid of a wide receiver. I mean, I'd be doing the same thing if I was Snine. I'd be shopping one of those. I mean, AJ Brown's out right now. I mean, you need an RB, man, and he needs an RB bad. So I think that's the move if he's looking to offload, or to kind of like shore up his starting lineup. That could be the play. There's just not a lot of running backs out there. I mean, there's not a lot of guys that have three good running backs. So we'll see. But Colombian White, what a performance out of the guy. I mean, plays Fields. I think this is like his third starting quarterback of the year that he's played. But he hits on it. I mean, and then we kind of run down. I mean, I think Olave is steady. Kind of talked about him in the last couple pods. McLaurin, to your point with Daniels, I think he's finally got a quarterback that's going to throw him the ball. Pretty consistently. So I think he kind of been written off a little bit, even though he's very talented, but you ever kind of think of him being a stud. And I think he's going to be pretty good the rest of the year if Daniel stays healthy. I mean, the last 2 weeks he gets in the end zone. I mean, 20 and 18. Oh, a nice little piece to throw on. A little wide receiver too.
yeah. I love McLaurin. Like I don't think he's going to be an elite like top five receiver, but I mean, especially in that offense, it's like any given drive they have the ball, you're like, all right, is he gonna have like a couple big catches?
Yeah.
So just
Yep.
that offense is humming right now. He's looking pretty good. I've always liked, I mean, I didn't think Phil's team was as bad
I agree.
as his record was. Just I mean, he has good pieces. Olave, again, like he's kind of like a slightly better version of McLaurin, like not going to be a top five guy, but just
Mhm.
solid. Aaron Jones, I mean, or have you been
Lo-
surprised about how he's been in Minnesota? He looks just like himself.
Yeah, no, he looks. I mean, I knew he was going to be, have a pretty good year if he stayed. Again, can he last a whole year as the number one running back? I mean, that's the big question. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, he looks great.
But
I mean,
like, why did they let him go? He would be better than Jacobs in Green Bay right now.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think they kind of dogged him a little bit, and we're kind of hoping that he would sign for less or like kind of restructure. And he already did that. He already took a restructure the year prior. So I they let him kind of walk, and I think they already knew that they could make this kind of deal for Josh Jacobs. I mean, I don't know. As a fan of the Packers, obviously I love Aaron Jones. I would take him over Josh Jacobs any day of the week, just from the fan standpoint and what he's done in Green Bay for 6 years prior. But yeah, he looks great. I mean, he looks probably the best. I think the best running back that Phil has. I mean, Bijan, he looks good, but like I don't know, man. I don't understand why they don't give him the ball more. I mean, I know Algier's
Yeah.
a solid RB2 and or in that offense, I should say, but I mean, there's some plays that he makes. Like he had a run last night in that Thursday night game where I'm like, dude, like that guy's such a stud. Like there's
Yeah.
flashes from him where I'm like, he looks like the best, like easily one of the best
Yeah.
players, like athletically in the NFL, but like for some reason it's just not like correlating to like monster games. Like he hasn't really done. I mean, it's double digits, but like he's a first round pick. I mean, you're expecting you would get at least a couple 20s, maybe even a 30 here and there, but he's not even getting in the end zone. Like he doesn't score.
One touchdown in 5 games.
Yeah,
I can't figure it out. I don't understand. I don't know why you wouldn't give this guy the ball more. It doesn't, it makes no sense. Like he must just be a complete retard that he can't learn, like he can't learn the plays enough, or I don't know what it is.
like you see like Saquon and stuff, like guys that are like kind of like similar in terms of like I don't know athleticism, but and like he's not even really like getting targets. I mean, I guess the first couple of weeks he had a couple catches, but like you think they'd like throw some screens to him, just like get
Yeah,
him out.
they just run an offense and he's just a piece of it.
Yeah,
Instead of saying like, all right, he's our best player, let's like scheme some things to this guy. But I
yeah,
think with the whole new coaching staff, that's what they were going to do, which is why he was a
yep.
top three pick. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess he could turn it, like he's just as capable as he was before to turn it on, but I don't know.
Yeah, I
Pollard,
mean,
so he has
oh yeah,
Pollard
sorry,
there
Axel.
too. I mean, Goddard's been good
Goddard's been good.
without
Yep.
any other wideouts there. Pollard, I have him in Lehigh. Like, I'm not super excited about him, but he's been good.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. I mean,
been
Pollard's
solid.
been steady, but overall pretty steady. Like he's got three good running backs. I'll say that. I mean, even though like
Yeah, he's good running. He's
we're
good running
knocking
backs. Two
Bijan,
good wide receivers.
good team, solid team.
Quarterbacks kind of suck.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he doesn't have no
no, they
no
do.
quarterbacks. Yeah,
Fields is, I
yeah,
mean, fine. You could get that a week. He's gonna have probably five next week or something.
yeah. That's and like bench wise. I mean, besides Waddle, which we kind of made a comment on, like you know, until Tua comes back, I mean, Waddle's useless. I mean, most of those guys
Yeah.
are, but I mean, Waddle's you can't play Waddle until Tua comes back, and you maybe have a possibility of him getting in the end zone because that's it. I mean, you can't Tyreek, you got to play on a weekly,
Dude,
right?
I don't
And
even want to play Achan. Like,
I was just
what
saying,
kind
but
of
you have
teams?
to.
They can't, even the players are scheming for him. Like, he's just running into a brick wall every time. I want him to just sit for 3 games. Like, I'll put him on my bench. That's fine. Like, let's just keep him healthy. It's
Yeah,
absurd how bad that team is.
it's pretty pathetic. We'll just kind of throw the standings up. Obviously,
Yeah.
I just can't believe, kind of looking at this when going into it, how many 3-1 teams there are after week four.
Crazy. Yeah.
Six teams at 3-1. Anthony way down there, obviously, unfortunately, just even in points four, but kind
Yeah,
of battling out with
Anthony's
Rick.
totally fucked.
Yeah.
Rick, Rick's not totally screwed yet, especially
Yep.
because we have the 7th spot now in the playoffs.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, a lot of 3-1 teams. Very, very competitive league this year. I really do think. I mean, minus Finkel, who
Yeah.
because of
Decimated.
injury, kind of looking kind of rough right now. I really do think any team could win any given week.
Yeah.
So we'll just see
Let's
how it
get
plays out, man.
let's get into the we'll do some just quick
Oh
predictions
yeah,
here
real
for
quick. Let's just
week
do
five.
some
Let's
pick'ems.
just run five and quick. Yeah, I mean, we got Thursday night point totals in here too, which always helps shake it out. But I get a monster
I'm
week
picking
from
you,
Drake London.
Gio. I'm picking
Yep.
you, man.
All right, I like that. I'm picking myself as well, and I was picking myself even before the Drake London absolute just shellacking he gave. I really hope I beat Ryan. Ryan's been talking a lot in the chats. He's making it known. He's the champ. So we gotta come after him. But I like my roster this week. Gonna go with Wicks too this week. Gonna go with the Homer pick in my flex. So and yeah, I like my lineup this week. I think that's first time I picked myself in 2 weeks. I think, or actually, well, I picked myself against Anthony. But let's go to the
Yeah,
bastards
I'm
quick.
I'm, I'm taking you too, G.
I got that down. Perfect. Let's go here quick.
Let's see.
Bastards and Arby's. Man, Arby's is this right? He's projected 89 points. Good Lord. Oh, he's got Hurts and
Warriors
St. Brown. Oh, he's got I
and
forgot
North
Detroit's on a
Florida.
bye.
Oof.
And Philly. He's got a tough lineup this week. Well, gonna be an easy one. I'm taking Logue.
He plays Whittingham over Steele this week. Yeah, I'm taking Logue. Sorry, RBs. You just don't have
Who
it
the
this week. He's playing Trevor.
Jordan Whittington and Trevor Lawrence is in his lineup this week. Good God, Arby's. I mean Arby's. You got to consider maybe playing. I'd almost play both, like
Yeah, just throw Charbonnet in there in the
both.
flex.
Yeah, both Seattle running backs. I was just gonna say that. Yeah, I like. Unfortunately, I think it's.
I
I mean,
mean, it's
he's
not gonna matter. So don't
no. I
don't
like. I
even
like.
stress about it, RBs. Just
All
just take
right,
the L.
Arby's. 2 and 3, bud. See you in
Yeah.
week 6. Um.
Don't stress about it. You'll be fine.
Beeve and Train. Train probably has a couple buys too. Let's see who's out here. Well, Neighbors is out. That's a tough one. Um,
Neighbors
AJ
and
Brown's
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown's been out for him,
So
but
he's got
oh, he's
Gino.
playing Tracy. I mean, that's actually a good
Yeah,
play by him.
he's
Tyron Tracy is going to get the start.
throwing Worthy in there too. Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
taking. I don't love the Kyler McBride stack in San
in San Fran.
Francisco, but I'm taking the beef.
Yeah, I
Too
got the
many,
Beeve as
too many
well. I mean,
horses.
we've kind of been chalk right now, unfortunately, just based off of even the projections for all these first couple matchups. But I like the Beeve as well. Beeve's been hot. It's a hot Beeve right now.
It's always a hot beef.
Anthony's got to finally
Oh,
just feel
oh,
good
he
on.
started Cousins. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. So finally gets off the bugaboo of, I mean, every Thursday night. I mean, I play Quates and Anthony every Thursday night, and every Thursday night, I've watched Ramondre Stevenson get point three for him. I watched, I forgot somebody else the other week. Oh, it was Singletary. Singletary got him like four the other week. So like Thursday night's been just an awful start for Anthony in fantasy, but God, it'll feel good here. Kirk Cousins goes off, absolutely off. And hey, he has to play Rashad White because Singletary's out and gets 9, so that's not bad. But Anthony has really no other options. This
Yeah,
is this is the
I don't
lineup.
I don't really love the rest of his team, but
Yeah,
he
in the
might have
Joker
enough
playing.
points already to beat
Yeah, in a 42 spot.
Colombian White, whose team I don't know. Like, I
He's
guess
playing.
he's playing command. Oh, he doesn't have Goddard or
Oh, Goddard and Pollard are on bye,
yeah,
so
no
he's got to
Waddle
play
now.
2-2
So
Atwell. 2-2
yeah,
Atwell been up to. Yeah,
Komet and Atwell are not going to light up the scoreboard this week. So he's really, I mean, Fields is probably due for
Fields
a shitty
Fields
game.
at home against Dallas.
He's
Yeah, I
going to need
mean,
Olave, McLaurin, and Aaron Jones to carry the load. And I mean, maybe Pittsburgh Dallas is a shootout, but
yeah, I don't like the Aaron Jones matchup
I
this
don't
week
know.
though. Even though they're home, I mean, the Jets D usually is pretty decent. Just in
They're playing
terms
in
of just
London though. Yeah, that's in London.
yeah.
So
Oh, I'm
maybe
sorry. Yeah, yeah.
maybe
9:30
those
game. Yeah, yeah. Yep, yep.
games
Yeah.
are
So that's
weird.
Yeah, usually low point. I like Finkel.
Yeah, wait, I gotta really think about this one.
I'm giving Fink his first W.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, sorry, Phil.
Ooh, all
I'm
right.
going Anthony. Anthony's gonna get his first win. He
That's gonna be
deserves
big.
he
That's gonna be
deserves
big.
something positive.
Here's the other 0-4 team. Looks like he's playing Steve this week too. That's a brotherly matchup.
Oh man.
Gonna
All
run
right,
through
let's see.
this. So scratch this Goodson play. Actually, I gotta prove that. I have co-commissioner rights. I'll approve that trade
Yeah,
after we get out.
push that through.
Um,
So he's gonna have Trey Sermon in there, who I mean, I
and
don't
Trey Sermon
exactly,
will give him
but
maybe he'll give him 10. He's got to play Javante. Who else is? Oh, Montgomery's on bye too. Damn, Rick's kind of
so too.
decimated this week.
Jesus. Then he's Tank Dell in there.
Don't love that.
Jaden Moore, Amari Cooper. Damn. Yeah. Ugh. All right, let's look at the other side. We've got Josh Allen at Houston. Damn, that's probably gonna be a shootout. Marvin Harrison, he gets shut down. Reed's gonna go off. Kyron's gonna go off. Dowdle sucks. Kittle, he's kind of banged up, isn't he? He's definitely
Yeah,
playing?
he played last week though, so I think I mean we'll take a look at what they say here, but I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure he's playing. Yeah, he's playing.
he'll be fine. So Pickens, oof, damn.
Damn, I got to go with the Rigs. I mean, I hate to say it,
I
but I
have to
mean,
take. I'm trying to find a reason to pick the Blizz here, but
yeah, so am I. Like I picked him
yeah,
2 weeks in a row,
I'm
but
really
I
trying to
can't.
reach here.
I mean, he's playing Javante Williams and Trey Sermon. I mean, it's just tough sledding to
I
get
mean,
some
it's
points.
not. I could definitely see a scenario. Lamar, like he could have a 40-point game. DJ
Yep,
Moore is due to blow up. Amari's due to blow up. Kelsey could have one of
yeah,
his vintage games.
they're home.
Dell
Yep.
could have a good game in a shootout. So it's possible, but again, if I'm a betting man playing the odds and taking rigs,
All right, we're all chalk so far, at least in terms of both who we've been taking. Let's get in your matchup. Last one here for us in the matchups of 2-3-1 teams too. This will be billed to be a good one, at least in terms of the projections too. Pretty tight. Who do you guys got out? I mean, obviously besides Rice, that's really it. I mean, Adams, you got to figure out what's going on with him.
Yeah, Devontae's out. Dude, I'm debating who to play between Jaden and Burrow. Who would you play this
Oh,
week?
that trade did go through because he's got Brock. He has Brock Purdy in his lineup already. Looks like
So maybe Rick just didn't sub him out
he just
yet.
didn't. Yeah, he didn't switch it up. But I mean, looking at this, I mean, going back to your question, um, I'm going Jaden Daniels all day.
Sticking
Now
with it.
yeah, I mean, it's questionable because he has Jamar Chase, and you always like to think like, okay, if I play the quarterback, I take away some of those points, from a skill position level, because obviously if he scores, you're going to get it with Burrow. But um, Jaden Daniels at home, I mean, he's been so good. I mean,
Yeah, he's
I
so
think
good.
I think you just got to roll with him. I mean, I
I just
think
felt
he's
like the Bengals, their backs against the wall, division against the Ravens. I think they're going to be locked in, fully loaded.
yeah. I can't
And
see too much
Cleveland,
of.
I feel like the Cleveland just always has like low scoring games.
I think they do.
Their
I mean, you're
offense
not
is garbage. Their defense is pretty good. It's just a dirty game against them.
Wandell. You got Wandell in there, and finally,
But yeah, I mean, I got the PPR scam in there. Debo, he should do well. Brees, I mean, he's gonna be fine. Last week was weird. Achan's
they
probably
got a
gonna be
good matchup
trash,
at least. Yeah, I mean, they're playing
trash
New England.
until two is back. Ferguson will be fine. Kareem, I mean, of all people, is who I'm maybe most excited about. I
He's
really
back,
even like just reading stuff, no one seems to really love him, but I'm like, he clearly is taking over that backfield. He has that
100%.
history from 2017, 18. Andy Reid loves him. Like they trust him. He knows the playbook. I think he's gonna just take over that backfield. As long as he still has some juice left and he doesn't get hurt, I think he's gonna be like
I
a
mean, he was
really
getting.
solid RB2.
I mean, they were throwing
Upside.
to
He's
him.
not as
They were,
good
of
as he was, but
course not, but they were throwing to him.
yeah.
Like not even. I mean, I think P Ryan got in right. Like he scored a late one, but I think P Ryan scored last week, but
Yeah.
either way, like I said, this guy, it's his backfield now. Good pickup by you. I mean, obviously, you get some shares of that offense still with unfortunately Rice going down. It's not going to take over obviously the consistency, but I do think, I mean, to your point, Kareem Hunt knows that playbook, knows the offense, same coach, and they trust him, and he looks good. I mean, he looked pretty slow in Cleveland, but he doesn't have the same burst, but he just like he he looked like, and he was pretty
Yeah.
revved up. He had like a 9 yard run early,
He
like
has
his
a
first
he has a
run.
chip on his shoulder. I think he's like,
Yep,
I finally have a chance again. And that's
yep,
like the kind of extra juice you need to like be a good fantasy player. I like that. I love him. Like
yeah.
I feel like most confident in him of any of my
Especially a running back.
And Debo maybe. I feel like Debo is just
They're gonna have a good game. He's gonna
gonna
have a good game
be
this week.
yeah, he's gonna have a good game. Yeah. So I mean,
I
I
like
don't
I like the matchups on the other side too. I mean, I'm just going through. I'll do Aaron's quick. I mean,
yeah, yeah.
Purdy's a good. He gets Purdy and he gets that little you know takes away a little bit of what Devo's gonna score if he gets a catch, I should say.
True. True.
Chase, to your point, I think Chase has a good week. If not, they're screwed. I mean, they're gonna be 1-4. Deontay, I like him again. I mean, just in terms of volume. Connor, I could see getting kind of shut down a little bit this week. I mean, he's been so steady though; it's hard to like kind of expect
Yeah,
him to be on a down week.
he's
So,
gonna get volume. I'm just hoping he like doesn't score a touchdown.
yeah. And then the rest of the lineup, I mean, like I keep saying at Minnesota and that London game, like Minnesota's D's been so good. Like, I don't know, it'd be interesting. Like Rodgers can't like doesn't have the time to throw. I mean, that's the thing. Like they come after you. Like they were after Love a lot. Like Love got hit a bunch of times last week. So kind of the first time I watched a full Minnesota like defensive game, and I was giving Steve some shit for that $50 bid, but their defense is good. I mean, they're a good team.
Dollar a
Like
bit.
they're yeah, like they have a lot of defense. It was insane. But yeah, like it's not a bad play when you look at how many points their defense is putting up. And yeah, New Jersey's looked or New Jersey. I mean, they should be the New Jersey Jets. New York, they look so off. Like,
Yeah, I
I
think
don't
that
know.
like the weather was weird that game. I think
It was. It
the
was.
field it was just a weird game. I'm just chalking that off. But yeah, I mean it should be a down week for Wilson, but I don't know. Like he could pop. All of his guys could pop. So I don't know. I think it's pretty even. Who are you taking?
I'm gonna take Aaron. I'm gonna take the goose. I just think
Okay.
I think you're gonna like Kareem Hunt and Wendell, which Wendell has been really good. But those guys are going to have to like put up some points for you to like kind of keep you in it. And then obviously, your stud running backs going to have good games. I mean, you can't have 8 points between them, or else you're screwed. So, but yeah, I think it'll be a close game. But I just like his lineup a little bit more in terms of the guys he has. I think he's a couple guys that can pop for sure.
All right. I'm gonna take myself.
Yeah,
So there we go.
that's the difference. Perfect. All right. Well, I think that was good. We ran through that pretty decently, probably around an hour or so. I think in
Yeah, dude,
terms of the
fantasy
pod.
is so stupid this year. I hate
Go
fantasy.
ahead.
I really do.
Give us your little. This is fine. This is your time to vent. Go
I
ahead.
don't even like I'm numb to it at this point. It's just stupid. I mean, you spend all off season making the right moves, making the right choices, researching, and it's just random. There's injuries, like just so many random things that go into it. It shouldn't suck up our souls as much as it does, you know? So that's what I'm dealing with. That's what's keeping me up at night these days, Geo.
It's good to
It's
hear.
not my
That's tough.
kids, it's not work, it's the what ifs, you
It's
know?
Rasheed Rice.
Yeah.
Rasheed Rice has been keeping you up for 6 nights. Yeah,
Waking up in the middle of the night wondering like if it's maybe just a PCL, an MCL sprain and not an ACL
God,
sprain too. And
can't
then
wait.
and a bone bruise, you know?
Can't wait for that
I'm
swelling
just
to go down.
I'm just searching the depths of Twitter looking for like a glimmer of hope. Like maybe some random meme account is gonna say something positive to give me a little juice to keep me going, you know?
Dude, that's so funny. That's so true though. I remember last year when Cooper Cup was hurt. Like I was looking like every day, like for something like, is he coming back? And then like they put him on the IR. I'm like, no. But yeah,
Yeah. And like
it is.
Kareem Hunt too. I'm sitting here like in the middle of a meeting, like watching an Andy Reid press conference, waiting for like his 5 seconds where he's like, "Oh yeah, Kareem looked good today. Like he should have some more reps." And I'm gonna be like, "All right, looking good this week."
Go
That's
Kareem.
where we are right now. That's just where we are.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, to your point, it is you could have the best draft in the world, and Anthony said it too, which I feel obviously terrible talking about him again, but yeah, he you could draft as well as you can. You can have the most knowledge of anything, about every team, every player, and it comes down to who stays healthy and who gets hot, like you said. And having your best players get injured, especially early in the year, that sucks. I mean, it puts such a damper on
It's
like the
just
next,
it's
like
just
it's
sickening.
week 4. Yeah, it's week 4. Like you never want to see your player get hurt, but you definitely don't want to see your player get hurt this early. And a guy like that's been like, a
Yeah,
guy's putting up 20 points a week for you. You that was a hit. I mean, that you picking him in the fourth, I think Snyder said was a fourth round pick. That was a
yeah,
great pick. I mean,
yeah.
and we'll
It's
see.
like I mean Anthony's had just such a
Yeah.
horrible combination of injuries that he doesn't have a chance. But even like those guys,
Yep.
McCaffrey or Puka are coming back. Like if you just had one of them and you're on IR and you're like, all right, fine, like you have some hope. Keep me
Yep.
alive until they're back, till my horse is back. Knowing
Yep.
your guy's just like done for the year is just, you know what? We're gonna fight though. I mean, you
You
don't
got
need
you got
you don't need
you still
to you don't need to have the best team to win. You just have to have a
no, you
few
don't.
good pieces and um we'll see what happens. I felt good about my I mean Wandale Robinson is a trash player, but he gets open off the line of scrimmage. So
A lot of
he
catches.
can
Yeah.
yeah, if he can just keep me afloat on the PPR side and if Kareem can turn into something, then I've got a little depth to keep me alive. And Devontae,
Yeah.
if he
That's
goes somewhere. So, that's what's keeping me going these days, G.
Well, it's good that you got another another member to kind of add to the plantation with Kareem Hunt. So, one body for another out there in the fields. So that's big for you.
Yeah,
Um
exactly. Another guy with a record, get him in there.
yeah.
So
Yep.
Rasheed,
That's
we're
good.
battling for him. We're fighting for him too. So I can keep him maybe and not have him be suspended half of next year, but
Yeah, I
see
know
how it goes.
that's looming too, unfortunately for him. But yeah, I mean, good. We'll see more to come. And like I said, there's a lot of 3-1 teams. You're one of them. I think it's anyone's game this year. Like you said, I don't think there's a. Last year, Anthony, I think, had the best team for sure. It was pretty obvious, I would say, in the last like 6 weeks. He went on a serious run. Like didn't lose until that like bonehead Brock Purdy game against
Yeah.
Ryan in the semis. But this year, I think, like you said, kind of running through them, there's 5 or 6, maybe even 7 or 8 teams that are like all right there, in terms of just, have some good pieces, but nothing that stands out where like these guys are definitely head and shoulders above the league. So
Yeah,
it'll be interesting.
we're getting into the slog of the season though, where you start having guys on buys, little injuries. You have to
Oh, yeah.
make those like Arby's Steele versus Ken Walker decisions. Like you don't know who to play, but those are the ones that you play the right guy, it makes the difference.
That's going to
And
come back. That's going to come
yeah,
back. That can come back and haunt them. Yeah.
maybe I'll start keeping track of some of those things and we could do a segment later on in the year.
I would love that. Yeah. Well, I mean, this is good. I mean, it's good that we can at least note these on the pod because we can go
Yeah.
back and actually like be like, okay, that was one of them. That was another one. The Fab Dollar ones are always, the most obvious because we can actually keep those in terms of records. But
One other
um,
ridiculous fab that Minnesota defense was number
Minnesota D was 50.
Steele was two.
Steele was
Trying to think,
41.
yeah, who was
I'm
the
not
third?
sure. I'm not sure how much he spent on Likely. Aaron
Oh,
bid
like
on Likely after week 1. He's dropped now, so that's another Fab dollars going
oh,
to
that's
waste. But
awesome.
Yeah, it's and then this will be interesting. I mean, the $9 Trey Sermon pickup by the Goose this week, and then he trades him for Brock
It's
Purdy,
a
who
Brock Purdy. I mean, that's pretty
which
nice.
could be which could yeah. So he spent basically $9 to get a quarterback that you can't believe you get to this point, but I have shares of Patrick Mahomes in our Lehigh League, and it's tough. Like it's tough to keep playing him every week. I mean, he's just they don't have the weapons, and he's putting up 15 to
Yeah,
20 every week. Like that sucks. Like
I
you
don't think you
expected
can
so
play
much
him.
more. It's hard to like it's. So I think that's a good play by Aaron to like get some reassurance. Unless I don't think he's going to go out and throw 3 or 4 touchdowns like ever this year. So it's tough.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's weird. He's still the best real life quarterback, but he's just
They're
total
four. They're
garbage.
4-0.
Let's see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy. But I appreciate you coming on. It was a nice
Yeah,
pod.
thanks, G.
Well,
Good time. It was a good therapy session. I don't
yeah, I
feel
think
any
you.
I don't feel any better, but
Well, maybe
still
you'll feel better if you get a
it's
W this week. So we'll check in on you after Monday.
a
And
little W feels good. Let's get a few Phillies wins this weekend, and
please, I know, please.
the Eagles are on bye, so thankfully I don't have to deal with that torture.
Yeah, actually, it's great for
So
you guys. I mean, as Philly fans, I should say, even a lot of my college buddies, they're yeah, you have to work. I mean, football's just kind of in the background now. You can just watch the Phils. Hopefully, take out the Mets. I mean, tough series draw for the Phils, but nice that they'll get 2 home games over the weekend. So that'll be cool.
yeah, man. All right, G.
All right,
It's been a pleasure.
great talking to you. See you, man.
See you, dude.
Peace.
Hey, wait.
Perfect ending
Oh,
to episode
ah,
3.
oh shit. Cut it off. Cut it off.